Right, awesome, here we go. Hi guys, it's Rich from Team CFG and I'm with John from The Gun Shop.
Hey guys.
He is a big kind of, I wouldn't want to that is timing, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
There we
sorry,
go.
yeah.
Let's go.
Sorry about that.
There you go, that's
Sorry,
alright.
it's all
So,
good.
yeah, so John basically, I wouldn't call him an influencer as it were, unless you want me to call you that.
I don't even know what one of
I'd
those
say-
is properly, but
There you go.
I'm a YouTuber.
But he runs a gun shop and he's all over YouTube, what, 300, 400 videos now. Awesome content, so go and check it out. But we're going to delve a bit in depth into the man behind YouTube, aka John. Introduce yourself, John.
Hi guys, I'm Johnny from The Gun Shop. We have a gun shop, but if you've seen me before, it's probably through the medium of YouTube. We started a YouTube channel about 2.5 years ago, and it's kind of grown and got entirely out of hand, but we thoroughly enjoy it.
Awesome.
And now we're here today.
And how did you how did you start growing it? And what was it, I know we've chatted just before now, but what was kind of the idea behind, right, we've got a gun shop, lots of gun shops out there, but we're going to actually grow it through social media. Like, that's our main aim of kind of marketing, but also giving informative information about what we sell and what we do.
So a lot of it is you just have to size up your competition, or we sized up our competition. Locally we got 4 or 5 shops, big shops, who already had, millions of pounds worth of stock. And we were a tiny little shop with 30,000 or 40,000 pounds worth of stuff, which might sound like a lot of money, but it's not. Not in stuff world.
Yeah.
In stock world, it really is minimal. By comparison, we got a lot more than that now. So obviously you have to grow it. That happens naturally. We weren't going to find an angel investor to give us a load of money, and we had to advertise. Obviously, we went straight out with the conventional advertising route because that's just what you do, isn't it? You go to the magazines, you go, I'll have a quarter page, and I'll have it in all of your publications. Before you know it, you're spending a fair amount of money. We weren't seeing a return on that purely because if someone was in the area, they weren't coming to us because of maybe a lack of choice, and we were building a customer base as any business would, but we decided, you know what, we can't take that top tier away, those older boys dedicated who have loyalty to the big shops. It's unfeasible.
Yeah.
What we can do, however, is influence the younger market, people more our age, people getting into the sport, and take some of that market. Wasn't all of that. A lot of it came from, in fact, the larger portion came from, we were sick of people coming into the shop. And I didn't always work here, I've worked at a couple of other shops, but the previous place I was at, we used to get people come in all the time, I've seen this on YouTube and it does this, and you go, no it doesn't.
Right.
But you'd watch the video they'd watched, and it was some guy who had made a video on this thing, and that was great, but it was maybe not ill-informed, but wasn't quite correct.
Yeah.
So we wanted to put out a positive force from the gun trade, because no one was doing it. No one was professionally putting out decent quality gun video reviews, so that when people walked into any gun shop across the country, they could go, I've seen this and it does this, this and this, and the person would go, yes it does, would you like one? Yes, that's fine. And being a positive force for good in the gun trade is always good. In the gun community, more than the gun trade, is good, but also for our own personal benefit was the original plan.
Yeah.
Was to advertise our shop. And that really is kind of a secondary thing now to that, the first aim, which was to educate people on guns and have lots of fun.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, that's basically it, isn't it? That's a good one. So yeah, here's a good one. So what guns do you own yourself? Because obviously you get surrounded by guns every day. I know you're passionate about guns, but what do you actually own yourself that you're like, yeah, these are cracking, so I'm going to have some?
Crikey. Well,
was this going to be a long list?
No, it's not actually.
Good.
I own a really small amount of guns. Obviously the ability to pick and play and try and feel, and over the course of the last 9 years I've had the opportunity to play with just about every gun that's been produced that you could get your hands on readily. You kind of get over, I'm going to own that for owning's sake, purely because you get to play with it for a couple of months, someone buys it and moves on. Some things you do resent not buying. I've got a list of those that I wish I'd bought. But so I own, shotgun wise, I own a couple but nothing special. The main one being I own a Maruku Mark 38 that I had colour hardened and put a new stock and forend on it because I'm quite tall, so having a custom fitted stock that I did myself was a nice thing.
He's not quite tall, by the way, he's massive, to be honest. Freakishly tall. Carry on.
Freakishly,
yeah.
thanks mate. So I've got my custom Maruk I've been looking for a replacement for that for like 2 or 3 years, but I haven't found anything that I can either afford or want. That's going to fill its hole, apart from something exactly the same. That just seems a bit dull. And I own a couple of Winchester 120 Rangers because they're cool.
Right.
And who doesn't want a pump action in their lives?
Right.
And I've got a couple others, but they're unexciting. They are unexciting. Rifle-wise, I've had a few. I've got a few, but my one I'm currently using more than anything is a Merkel Helix straight pull. It's
Right.
cool. It's really nice, actually. I like that. I'm sure I'll get over it fairly soon. I want others, but that's where I'm at the moment.
And what do you mostly kind of shoot yourself? Is it clay? Is it game? Is it a bit of rifle shooting, like range shooting, or what do you mostly shoot? For a bit of fun on a Saturday.
I work on Saturdays, mate. I work in retail.
There you go.
Every goddamn Saturday for the last 9 years.
There
you go, drop yourself
that bit in. What about
Don't work in
maybe a
retail.
Sunday?
Sundays. I used to be massively into my clay shooting, massively, but I had a kid. That changes your weekend dynamic massively, obviously, and so I don't really do that anymore. What I do more now than I've ever done, I do a lot of stalking, purely because it's a little bit of alone time once a week, once a fortnight. I can get out, sit out by myself, whether you kill something or not, see something or not, it doesn't matter. It's just nice to be out in nature, enjoying the world. So for me, deer stalking is currently my number one, except in game season, and I will shoot as many pheasants and partridge as I can afford to do.
Right, yeah.
But that's purely for the other aspect is it's a real intense time with your friends. So for me, it's those two things. I love driven shooting or walked up or mini driven shooting. Organised shoot days.
Is your stalking local? Or...
I've got a couple of bits. None. They're all local enough. They're all in the south.
All right, yeah.
They're all local enough.
Yeah.
I said last year I went to Scotland, and the year before I went to Scotland. Scotland's cool.
Yeah, I bet I've heard Scotland and the scenic part of it as well. It's the whole, I guess it's the whole experience of when you go and shoot, isn't it? It's like kind of having that nice scenery, good shooting, and that's probably a bit of drinking in this case. As we were offered brandy straight away. So
well, it is 5 o'clock, mate, so it's perfectly acceptable, isn't it?
There you go, exactly. Well, I guess so. I think I've got the time differently there, but fair enough. Right, so let's have a quick look.
Do you shoot?
Yeah, I do actually.
What's your favourite type of shooting?
God, when I actually get, again, working in retail / production, sometimes I get a Saturday, sometimes I don't. Exhibitions though, I do a lot of exhibitions, so unfortunately I don't get to shoot. But when I do, I'm lucky enough at home to have a bit of land.
Oh, awesome.
So we've got a really old, like 30-50 quid trap. And I'll shoot with my granddad, Richard, and my dad, Richard. And the three Richards will go and shoot maybe a Saturday or a Sunday, but nothing too serious. Never been game shooting. I shot a bit in New Mexico.
That's cool.
A couple of years ago when I was younger, about 13, with some crazy guns, and that was it. But yeah, I do shoot myself, do own guns. Good for testing the earplugs, obviously, as well. But I don't get the opportunity often to give it a go. So maybe I'll come shooting with you. How does that
you'll be
sound?
welcome to.
Well,
Why don't
thank
you come out and have a
you.
little play? Where are you from?
This is good, isn't it? There you go. Yeah, you switch it around on me. I like your style here. Yeah, so Leamington Spa, Warwickshire.
Cool.
If you know that. So
Yeah.
about 2 hours away. It's not actually too bad.
It's
I've got a
not too
mate
bad
in
at all.
Winchester, Eastleigh, so I've been down here quite a few times. And obviously
That's
today
right.
I'm seeing a brand new mate that I've made. Brand
Oh,
new
that's
friend.
nice, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just because the camera's rolling, but we'll,
Brick.
yeah, literally. So, I guess where's your? You kind of already said it, but where's your favourite place that you have shot at? Is it Scotland?
That is a real impossible question.
Because you've shot at so many, or
No, just it's all about the wider experience and not maybe just the
Right.
geographic location.
yeah,
So, if you were just asking about purely the best shooting experience, you're going to have to say Scotland, purely because it's based around that hardship. You've got to get up the hill, you're miserable, you're pretty hungover, you're not quite wet, but you're pretty wet, you've hurt your legs, you can't walk because you've been up the hill the day before, and when you shoot something, it's 120 kilos of animal, you've got to get down the hill,
Yeah.
or in which case a friend of mine shot one right down at the bottom of a valley, we had to drag it up the hill, and then
Yeah.
down the hill onto a road. It's that hardship makes it unforgettable. So any type of, you don't remember the best times of your life, but you always remember the worst.
yeah.
And if you can mix the best and the worst, I've always found that's a good thing. However, I don't think that is entirely the best. I don't know. I've got a list. Do you want a list? I'll give you a list.
Give me give me a go.
Scotland on the Stags, definitely Italy. Thank you, Sasha. Sorry. Well done. So I'll give you a list. We've got Stags in Scotland. It's just it's awesome. There's nothing about it that is bad in any way, because it's just wicked. You should go if you've not been. Like I said, you should just get up and go at
You
it.
can take the invite. I'll do it with you.
Italy, went wild ball shooting in Italy. I didn't actually shoot anything, but I'm going back fairly soon, hopefully to get another one. But that whole experience, and actually the environment that you're in, trying to be in the pursuit of game, was brilliant. I've got a favourite shooting estate down in Dorset, Minton Magna. I've been there for the last 5 years, and they do these little driven days, these mini driven days, and they are hands down some of the best fun you'll ever have. But generally, it's always about who you go with.
Yeah.
And the things that happen, the place and where you go and what you're after matter so little by comparison to who you're with and what happens when you're there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the more failings, the better, I've always found.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So basically, find the worst day of shooting possible, and that's probably your favourite.
That is probably
It's
going
the
to be
one
the
you're
best
gonna
day
remember
ever.
as well.
You will remember it the most, and inevitably you have the most jokes to tell afterwards.
So I do have a prompt here, just so everyone knows. What's your, if you had to own one gun, and it can't be like, oh well, this is a shotgun and this is a rifle I'd own. If you only had to own one gun, what would it be and why? And it can be maybe if you got something sentimental, something like that. What do you go for?
That is really, really damn hard, actually. I was going to come out with a really intelligent answer there. I'd love to say a Boss over and under. It's always been a dream of mine. However, what I'd really like is, if it were going to have one gun and only had to own one gun, I'd own a Peter Hoffer combination gun. He does these
Yeah, I was going
little
to say, for someone who doesn't know,
So he
shooting
doesn't-
that well, explain it.
So he does a side-by-side shotgun. So something called a drilling out there. That is a shotgun with a rifle barrel underneath, a 3-barrel gun. What he does is he sinks the barrel, the rifle barrel, in between the shotgun barrels, so you can't see it.
Right.
So it's hidden inside the ribs. Yeah, you can't have big calibers, but it doesn't matter. It's just a feat of engineering, and it's really cool. And you wouldn't be limited. I wouldn't be limited
Yeah, I was
by
gonna
your
say,
no shotgun, no rifle
yeah,
rule.
very
I could do
smart. I
everything
like
with
your
one gun,
style.
and they are also absolutely stunning, and about £250,000 quid.
Okay. Well, there you go. It's not too bad of a
So-
price, is it?
Could you buy it for me?
I'd have to make a few earpieces. Unfortunately, I'm not quite there yet. I was going to ask you, but we've got the man actually behind the lens here, of how did you get into... Are you a creative person yourself, aka the editing part, or is it kind of, no, I know guns, the creative part comes obviously from Sasha over here, who's doing pictures as we
Why don't
speak.
you come and
as
sit down
well.
with us, Sash? Come on.
They don't want to see me.
Come and sit down.
Don't ruin the magic.
Because that's the
Alright.
interesting part that we were saying, that the biggest difference I see is the quality of stuff you're putting out is next level.
Thank you.
I do actually think it's awesome. I already told Sasha that. So kind of, was it always the plan to, look, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it properly and we're going to do some really high quality stuff?
No. We weren't ignorant to start with. We started like everyone starts and bases it purely around content. So what we were putting out, I'd like to say, being the person who was in front of the camera, it was solid content. It was fact and truth, with some half decent enough camera work behind it, but nothing exceptional. These
Yeah.
guys would think it was bad. We would go,
Yeah.
that was a good video.
Yeah, we're doing all right here.
Yeah. And then slowly over time, actually looking and seeing how, it's only not over the last 2 years, but me understanding the quality difference between what we were doing and what the people I watched were doing, is I wanted to be there. So we actually ended up getting our own full-time videographer as opposed to doing in-house. And not that the guys that we had doing in-house were bad. In fact, they were really good, and given what they had, we did a great job.
Yeah.
However, to do it to the next level, you do need a videographer. Like Sasha.
There you go. There is. He's smiling at the back there as well.
I can't remember what the
what
whole
were
question
you-
was, but that's...
No, that's pretty much it. And I was
Yeah.
going to say, and finally, probably, what's kind of the future plans for the gun shop in general, and then maybe kind of social media wise, what's kind of the future plans? Again, Sasha's kind of one who's probably knows a lot more, but far
Okay,
away.
I
I'm
just
sure.
want to make this correction now. All I do is make the videos. You've got
Okay, so you're the
futurist
man
over there.
behind it. There you go.
Johnny
So
is
what's the plan
the director
behind
of
it
the
in
shop.
that case? The gun shop in general, is there any plans to physically change the gun shop, anything like that? I know, at the moment not a lot of people know, but you've literally basically got your own studio here, with even like a shooting simulator for customers coming in if they want to try out a gun, try out, see how good their aim is. They literally can go on the simulator indoors, and I've seen it working, shooting boar. It's absolutely awesome. But what's kind of the next step for the gun shop, and what's the next step for it social media wise?
Very dynamic change. is what
Okay.
I'd like to say. It sounds like such an open-ended thing, but we never intended to be where we are now. 2.5, 4, 5 years ago. 5 years ago almost. Jesus. We never intended to be where we are now. We never sat down and went, we would like to be a gun shop in that unit selling this type of gun with a shooting simulator, making videos, having a full-time videographer, social media man, doing all this and that, because that would have been insane. However, we kind of just followed the path, to be honest. And as long as it's growth, as long as you keep working hard towards any goal, the goal being, as we've said earlier, bigger, better,
Yeah.
stronger, faster, all that kind
Yeah.
of thing. That's what I want to be. Where that takes us, I don't know. Social media wise, I would like to work on some bigger projects, honestly. I think that's where our future is going to be.
Any
Is
travelling
perhaps
or anything like that, do you think?
we're going to
or-
Italy next week. That's
there you
cool.
go, it's not too bad.
And then potentially more of that. But it's deciding what route to take, you know. And I could unlay all of our plans to you here, but they're secret. So
There you go. Awesome. Well, that's it basically. So, if you want to go and check them out, the gun shop is the one to go to. YouTube is probably one of your biggest,
It's
where
gonna
it's
be
just
the
got
best landing zone,
crazy, crazy amount of videos, all about guns, just entertainment as well. So go check them out on there. But you've got Facebook, Instagram
Of
as well.
course,
They've
yeah,
got
yeah.
it all. But just go and check them out. They're awesome. And otherwise, that's it. So see you in a bit.
no, thank you very much.
No worries, buddy.
Take
Cheers.
care.